Hello everyone, I am Bharat and welcome to the Reading Labs. Today I'd like to share my thoughts on the book Letter to the Father by Franz Kafka. Previously I read The Metamorphosis and The Trial, both by Franz Kafka. I read Metamorphosis at an age when I could not understand the themes being discussed in the book. I recently read The Trial and I absolutely loved it. Before jumping into other works of Kafka such as The Castle and The America, and also before revisiting the book The Metamorphosis, I felt it was important for me to understand the psyche of Kafka, and that is the reason why I read the book Letter to the Father. We are talking about a man who has created a whole new genre, Kafkaesque. It has penetrated so much into our vernacular that whenever a novel covers the themes of isolation, self harm, self doubt, and self hate, we label it Kafkaesque. For example, if you take the book The Vegetarian by Han Kang, its exploration of isolation and inner turmoil reminds us of the way Kafka captures raw vulnerabilities of his characters. So, how did Kafka manage to channel this inner chaos and create a beautiful yet unsettling genre? I think the answer lies with his father, Hermann Kafka. The impact of Hermann on Kafka is immeasurable. As a child, Kafka struggled to live in the shadows of his father. Hermann's domineering personality left very little room for Kafka to explore and outlet his emotions. For example, in the letter, Kafka writes, "But at a very early stage, you forbade me to speak. Your threat, not a word of contradiction, and the raised hand that accompanied it have been with me ever since." Although Kafka had never endured physical abuse, the mental torment was much more devastating. If it had been physical abuse, Kafka would have applied some ointment to soothe the pain, but there was no such remedy for the mental scars. Left to confront his pain alone, Kafka never understood the relentless reproach of his father, leaving Kafka to believe that he was worthless. Herman disapproved of everything: his interests, his relationships, his pain, ultimately his very life. Throughout the letter, we can see that even as an adult, Kafka struggled to break free of the long, lingering shadow cast by his father's judgment. This suffering led him to pick up a pen, and what came out onto the paper were not only his stories, but it was also his channel of outletting his war within. Irrespective of the fact if you would be exploring Kafka or not, I would like to read something out from the letter that will make you pick up this book. It is as if someone is going to be hanged. If he really is hanged, then he is dead and it is all over. But if he has to go through all the preliminaries to being hanged and he learns of his reprieve only when the noose is dangling before his face, he may suffer from it all his life. I would recommend this book to everybody because it offers a raw glimpse of how a person's upbringing can shape their entire being. Throughout the letter, there were moments where I could relate to Kafka's experience, even though I've had a healthier family environment. We have all felt unheard at times, and this book reminds us of that painful yet universal experience. In today's world where mental well being is constantly in the spotlight, I think it is important for us to remember how early experiences can leave lasting scars. This letter forced me to identify such patterns that I have observed in different family dynamics and challenged me to be a better person, one who supports and listens rather than resent like Herman. It is so heartbreaking to think that Kafka spent his entire life burdened by the weight of his father's disapproval, ultimately dying with the belief that he was worthless. That unspoken pain, the inability to share his suffering with his own father, is something that still lingers with me. Herman's influence on Kafka was so great that he entrusted Max Brod, his friend, to destroy all his works because he thought they were of poor quality. I would not wish such suffering on my worst enemy. And that's all about the book. I don't think I can rate this book because how could you rate pain? I think this is something everyone should read, and I hope you do. Thank you for watching the Reading Labs, and I will see you next time with another book.